Buying an electric unicycle online from an unvetted source is an exciting and dangerous world of scams. It's everyone's childhood dream to be losing thousands of dollars in an eye blink, so I'm going to show you how you can also lose money yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can also fall victim to a scam, so you can also lose thousands of dollars in an eye blink. Then we're going to be talking about how I myself almost fell victim to a scam and lost thousands of dollars myself on this. Without any further ado, let's lose some money together. If you're a social media user, you may find yourself looking online to see if you can find yourself a way to save some money on an EUC. So that's where the low effort scams really are prevalent, especially on Facebook. There are absolutely loads of Facebook groups that are dedicated for the sale of EUCs. And that's where the lazy predators like to lurk. So for you and I, that's where we want to go so we can lose our money from these guys. These lazy scammers in general don't even know what an electric unicycle is. All they know is that they're valuable. What these scammers like to do is that they will steal someone else's photos from an actual real listing, and then they will say that it's this too good to be true price, something that's just really, really good just to draw you in. Now, what are some really easy and telltale ways to know if they're a scammer or if it's an actual, real, legit person that's selling their wheel? Number one, look at their profile name. If it's something stupid like electric unicycles for sale, they're a scammer. If they have 1 to 10 followers or so, they're a scammer. If they've joined that group in the last week or so, they're a scammer. When you look at their profile, you can see exactly when they joined that group. And sometimes I believe you can also see when they joined Facebook as well. If they've joined in the last week or so, they're most likely a scammer. Another really easy way to tell if someone's a scammer is if they insist that you use DMs. If you ask literally any question to them and they respond immediately with DM, then you know for a fact that they are a scammer and you can put all of your trust in the fact that you're going to be losing your money to them. And here's one that I've noticed, and I don't think I've ever seen a legit person selling an EUC that has done this, but if they're putting the stats of the wheel, for example, this is a Kingsong S22 Pro that's 4,000 watt motor and has all these stats, and they list all of that in the description. Someone who is actually shopping for that sort of thing already knows. And so in general, those specs are not listed on legit listings. So you definitely want to go with the ones that have that information on there so you can lose your money quicker. All right, jokes aside about trying to lose your money to a scammer. I think we've beaten that dead horse plenty here. So another way to identify if this is a scam, and sometimes they can be hard to tell, but with certain newer Android phones, you can use a circle to search feature. So you can reverse look up some photos of a wheel. So let's check out this one from this particular scammer. All I got to do is long press that button at the very bottom of the screen, and then it gives me the opportunity to circle whatever I have on the screen. I'm going to circle the wheel here, and then it's going to show up. Maybe it's already been on the internet. In this case, the real owner has already posted their photos of this wheel online on Instagram. So we know that this person with a horribly obvious username is a scammer. And finally, one of the most important things to do, and it's the easiest, if you are legitimately interested in buying an EUC from someone online and want to make sure that they actually have it, video chat with them. Set up a time that you can do a video chat so you can actually see the wheel and see their face. Okay, so now you're positive that this person is in possession of that EUC that you're interested in. But what if they just take your money and run? There's a few ways to protect yourself, but the ways that you are not protected is with Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, and if you use PayPal, friends and family, that is also not going to be on your side if they just run away with the money. On the other hand, if you happen to use PayPal with a normal business transaction, there are buyer protections, and oftentimes if you dispute a transaction, then in general, PayPal usually sides with the buyer or the person who got scammed, if you will. Now, this is less about scams, but more about stolen EUCs. If you happen to find an EUC on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, what have you, that is used, but it doesn't include a charger, that wheel is probably stolen. I mean, in what universe does an EUC just not have a charger that comes with it? That's like the way it has life. I'm just gonna say right now, I don't recommend trying to buy an EUC online that doesn't have a charger that came with it, because if it was indeed stolen, then the rightful owner may track that wheel down and it could be confiscated from you by police. You just don't want to be out your money and out a wheel. What I do suggest though is meeting up with the thief in a public area, and as long as you're positive that this person is actually a thief, you'll know if they're a thief or not if they know absolutely nothing about this EUC and they definitely don't know how to ride it. They're a thief. But as a skilled EUC rider, you can play repo man. You know that the local police are unlikely to just meet up with this guy that you suspect of being a thief, but you can take that EUC and bring it to the police so they can return it to the rightful owner. Yes, I realize it's risky, but it's also fun. All you gotta do is just meet them in a public place like a grocery store parking lot, and then as long as you can verify that it has sufficient voltage, just ride it straight to the police station and turn it in as stolen goods. Now let me tell you about a very creative scam that I almost fell victim to. I was at one point looking for the best deal I possibly could on my Leaperkim Lynx. So I was looking on Alibaba for a good deal. I was just gonna buy it from a Chinese dealer. They're in general pretty legit. I know of a few that offer very good prices. So I submitted an RFQ for Shenzhen MRZX, which is a pretty legit seller in China. I asked them what kind of deal they could make, and then within minutes, I got text messages from someone who claimed to be from Shenzhen MRZX. He says, "Hi Rob, are you still interested in the newest Leaperkim Veteran Lynx?" I say, "Yes, who is this?" And he claims to be a representative from this particular company. But as it turns out, these RFQs go out into the public. It goes out into the wild, and then literally anyone can see this information that you're requesting a quote from this particular vendor. So now they have your name, your phone number, and the product that you want. So now all they got to do is make you believe that they're legit and send them your money. He says to me, "We will offer you $2,600 US for the unicycle. Delivery would be done by FedEx, DHL, or express delivery, and it takes 10 to 15 days to arrive at your home address. Shipping costs included with custom and tax fees is estimated to be about $187 US. If we were to place the order against today and tomorrow, it would arrive with the early batch." Now that should have tipped me off right then and there, because EUCs don't get delivered by FedEx Express. In the US, they only go ground. It doesn't matter because they're lithium ion batteries. On top of that, 10 to 15 business days is really, really fast. That just doesn't happen because, again, it goes through cargo ship unless you air ship it, which costs like $600+ US to get done. It's not gonna arrive in 10 to 15 days. But I just didn't see that for some reason. I asked, "Is that for a 50S battery version or the 50E version?" He responds, "The 50E version." So now I knew this guy's an expert. I mean, he knows the difference between a 50E and 50S EUC. We've got a master on our hands. So then I asked him to quote me for a 50S version. He says, "To place an order, I'll send you a form to fill in your delivery details so we can be able to prepare your pro forma invoice for you to sign and confirm your order." Then he asks me, "What's your estimated budget for your order, including shipping fee?" And that took me aback. I mean, what dealer says, "What price do you want to pay for this item?" It was weird. What do you say to that? The lowest price possible, obviously. After a little bit of back and forth, he tells me that he'll send it for $2,750 US out the door, including the shipping fee. So then he prepares this lovely looking invoice that looks pretty legit, to be honest, but there's one little issue that I saw. and that's in the payment part. They want payment through all these methods where there is no buyer protection whatsoever. After all, this was an RFQ that was submitted through Alibaba, and you use the Alibaba payment system, including your credit card, to get your products through the Alibaba vendor. So I asked him, can you just send me that same invoice and do it through Alibaba's messaging system like a normal legit vendor would? And he says to me, of course not. There's no such thing as scam over here. Literally, why your invoice was prepared, and then you remit a deposit to settle shipment fees and all other shipping charges. I was asked to take the inquiry for this is not an OEM product supplied directly by Chinese suppliers. This invoice is to be generated from Alibaba to confirm the order. I will be excusing the broken English and word salad here because in general, Alibaba vendors are in China and they don't speak perfect English. So I didn't understand a lot of what he was trying to say. All I know is something's still not right. And there's no such thing as scams in China. Please. So I tell this guy that I will be happy to send the money, sign the document, as long as it goes through the Alibaba payment system. And he refuses to do that. And now we both know the jig is up. So the moral of the story there is, if you happen to buy an EUC on Alibaba, yeah, you might get a good deal, but you're also potentially exposing yourself to scams. So for that reason, I recommend getting an EUC brand new from a legit dealer. And if you happen to be in the market for an EUC, check out the video description. If you want to support the channel, I'd really appreciate it. There's loads of affiliate links and discount codes so you can get the best deal on your next EUC. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button because it makes me happy. That's all for now. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.